Sister Wives Christine Brown unveils special memorial for Garrison. Sister Wives star Garrison Brown may have passed away in March 2024, but he certainly will never be forgotten. After his death, his siblings adopted his pet cats. Many of them went on to get tattoos in his memory. However, Christine Brown and her side of the family opted for a different approach. In a new interview, Christine and David Woolley invited fans into their home to give a tour of their new place. And naturally, they had to give an update on the memorial. Read on to get the scoop. Christine Brown Woolley shows off her memorial tree. As 2024 continued, the Brown family realized they would experience many painful firsts after losing Garrison. Last week, they celebrated their first Thanksgiving without him. Although it was surely a difficult experience, Janelle shared that her other children visited and they had a lovely time together. But Janelle and her children aren't the only ones honoring Garrison's memory. Christine Brown helped raise him and wanted her own way to remember him. Shortly after his passing, Christine posted that she and her children planted a tree in her yard. In a new interview with Entertainment Tonight, she gave the outlet a tour of her home and showed the tree's progress. Sedona Midnight is the memorial tree planted in honor of Janelle and Cody's son Garrison, who tragically passed away earlier this year from a suicide, a voiceover reveals in the video. She is the tree that is for Garrison. Garrison just posted a really cool picture of Sedona. He was a great photographer. And he posted a picture of being in Sedona, and he's like, "This is Sedona Midnight." And then in parenthesis, it's like, "It would be my stripper name if I was a stripper," Christine explained in the interview, referencing one of Garrison's Instagram posts. David chimed in that he thought Sedona Midnight made a great stripper name, and his wife agreed. Sedona Midnight was a tribute to Garrison on his birthday. Garrison Brown passed away a month before his birthday, making the occasion incredibly somber for the family. Christine and her children chose to turn their grief into action, deciding to plant the tree. So for his birthday, the way that we kind of memorialized Garrison was we planted Sedona Midnight. So there she is, Christina continued. She's a Louisa crabapple. And when she gets really, really big, she'll get really, really, really big and tall. And then you'll just be able to sit under her and be enveloped in her love. The brisk Arizona morning sun painted the desert landscape with a warm glow, a stark contrast to the chill that lingered in the air. Christine Brown stepped onto the dusty ground of her backyard, her heart both heavy and light. Today marked a significant moment, a bittersweet occasion to honor the memory of her beloved son Garrison. Though Garrison was very much alive and thriving in his own world, the person he had once been within the family unit was no more. His fractured relationship with his father, Cody, and the shifting dynamics among the siblings had created a void. Christine had often thought of him as the glue that held many of them together during their most tumultuous times. But as the pieces of the Brown family shattered, so too had his presence in their shared story. This memorial wasn't about mourning a life lost, but rather commemorating a chapter closed, a moment to heal. Christine glanced at David Woolley, her steadfast partner, who was busily arranging a series of small wooden plaques along a stone pathway in her yard. The plaques bore inscriptions, pointed phrases and memories that celebrated Garrison's journey as a brother, son, and friend. David met her eyes with a reassuring smile, silently reminding her she wasn't doing this alone. The centerpiece of the memorial was a sculpture, a creation Christine had poured her soul into designing. It was a rustic tree made of wrought iron, with its branches outstretched and its roots deeply embedded into a circular base. Each branch bore an engraved leaf, and each leaf held a word or phrase that encapsulated Garrison's essence: loyalty, courage, protector, dreamer. As the family began to gather, Christine felt a wave of nervous anticipation. Janelle was the first to arrive, walking arm in arm with Maddie, her eldest daughter. Christine noticed the flicker of emotion in Janelle's eyes as she took in the sight of the memorial. "It's beautiful," Janelle whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "Garrison would be proud." Christine reached out to hug her sister wife, grateful for the bond they still shared. "This is as much for you as it is for him," she said. "You've been his rock through everything." Robin and her children arrived next, albeit hesitantly. Christine had debated whether to invite her, knowing how strained their relationship had become. But deep down, she wanted everyone to see this, not as a gesture of division, but as a bridge toward understanding. Robin's eyes darted to Cody, who trailed behind her with a furrowed brow and crossed arms. Cody's presence was the elephant in the room, and everyone knew it. He hadn't spoken to Garrison in over a year, their once close bond replaced with resentment and misunderstanding. Cody's decision to prioritize certain relationships over others during the pandemic had driven a wedge so deep that Christine doubted it would ever heal. Yet today wasn't about Cody, it was about Garrison. As the family settled into a circle around the memorial, Christine stepped forward, her heart pounding. "Thank you all for coming," she began, her voice steady despite the lump in her throat. "This isn't a day of sadness. It's a day of reflection, of gratitude, and of hope. Garrison has always been a bright light in this family, even when things were dark. And while the dynamics have changed, his impact remains." She gestured toward the iron tree. "Each leaf represents something we cherish about him. It's a reminder of who he's been to each of us, and who he continues to be as he grows into his own person." David stepped forward and placed a hand on her shoulder. "Garrison might not be here physically today, but his spirit is all around us." And Christine wanted to ensure that his legacy, his contributions to this family, are never forgotten. One by one, the family members were invited to share memories of Garrison. Maddie spoke first, recalling his playful nature as a brother and his unwavering support during her toughest moments. "He was always the one who'd make me laugh when I wanted to cry," she said, her voice trembling. "Even when things got hard between us all, Garrison was the one who reminded me of what it meant to be a Brown." Janelle shared her pride in Garrison's courage to stand up for himself, even when it came at a cost. "He's taught me so much about resilience and knowing your worth," she said, her eyes glistening. "I only hope he knows how much he's loved." When it came time for Cody to speak, an uneasy silence fell over the group. Cody shifted uncomfortably, glancing at the tree before clearing his throat. "Garrison has always been a strong-willed boy," he began, his tone guarded. "And while we haven't seen eye to eye recently, I hope he knows that my love for him hasn't changed." Christine bit her lip, resisting the urge to interject. She knew this wasn't the heartfelt acknowledgement Garrison deserved, but it was a start. And sometimes even the smallest steps mattered. As the ceremony drew to a close, Christine invited everyone to tie a ribbon around the base of the tree, symbolizing their connection to Garrison and their commitment to healing. Each ribbon was a different color, representing the unique bond they shared with him. When it was her turn, Christine knelt before the tree, her ribbon a deep, earthy green. "This is for the boy who taught me how to see the world through his eyes," she said softly. "And for the man he's becoming, a man I couldn't be prouder of." The sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the memorial. As the family lingered, sharing quiet moments of connection, Christine felt a sense of peace she hadn't known in years. The fractures in the Brown family were still present, but today there was hope. Hope that the bonds could be mended, one memory at a time.